it's like everyone's dream, you know. People want to win everything, so here we are at playoffs.
Everything's starting to look better for us, so I think going into playoffs, we're looking pretty good.
I'm pretty confident because I feel like we have a really good chance to make some upsets. Previously, when we played against Cloud9, when we lost, we were still like smashing their ball lane.
Niki now jumped on, slammed around, and beaten down. Adrian kills him for the second time this game.
It was really easy, so I feel like I'm really confident going into playing against him again.
They've had a lot of ups and downs, just like us.
I think we're only scared of Jensen.
He's obviously a KDA player.
Back falls, it's a super one, but the shockwave finds the carry, and a double kill for this Orianna yet again.
If we can shut them down, I think it'll be a really easy win.
I don't think it'll be easy by any means, but I think we're a better team.
They don't think we'll make it, but we're here to prove them wrong.
Hello and welcome to the 2017 North American LCS Summer Playoffs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the postseason, and we're kicking things off with the quarterfinals. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. I'm sitting alongside Mark Zimmerman and Aiden Zyrene Moon. Gentlemen, congratulations on making it to playoffs. I'm very proud of you.
Number 1 and 2 seed?
More like 7 and 8. We'll call it that.
I mean, I'm just happy to be here. Anytime I get a chance to compete, you know, I'm going to put my best foot forward.
I like to hear that. So let's kick off the day with a reminder of where the teams stand coming into the playoff picture. First up, we've got Cloud9 and Team Dignitas playing today in that 4-5 seed matchup. Counterlogic Gaming going up against Team Envy tomorrow. Of course, the winners of those quarterfinals will move on to play TSM and Immortals. Dynamic seeding pending in terms of who will play who. Of course, teams are not just competing for victories themselves, they're competing for championship points. So let's get a quick refresher on what championship points mean. As you can see there, the distribution over the spring split, as well as how they will be distributed here in summer, a little bit differently as the first seed auto-qualifies for Worlds, and then it slots in after that. Now, this graphic here is reminding you how many points each of the teams currently hold. TSM way out in front with 90, Cloud9 has 70 right behind them. The second column is the minimum number of points guaranteed to any of these teams based on their current standings in the playoffs, and therefore the final column is their minimum guaranteed total. Zyrene, talk to me about what's important here.
Pretty much the thing that stands out to me is because the 3rd and 4th place teams from spring aren't in playoffs in summer, what happens now is the only team that could actually pass TSM in terms of championship points is Cloud9. So if C9 lose today and Dignitas wins, if Dig beats C9, TSM actually qualifies for Worlds today.
Yeah, that's massive. The fact that they could not even play a playoff game yet and still get qualified for Worlds with a Dignitas victory here today, due to the fact that 3rd and 4th teams from spring did not make it to playoffs this time around.
I mean, sometimes you see teams buy other teams' jerseys and they start cheering for somebody. I think TSM might be pretty big Dignitas fans right now.
Now, of course, and same with the crowd. Of course, this past week, we announced the NALCS All-Pro team, so we're going to throw those guys up on the back wall here, take a little look at who was selected. Of course, 2 of these guys will be facing off today on the Rift.
Yeah, Jensen, of course, being 4C9, he had a monster performance overall, just dominating people in laning phase, had huge impact outside laning phase, but it's not like all these All-Pro selections were the same, because Bjergsen was super close behind Jensen. There was only 2 points separating them, so that was one of those races that was very, very close.
Yeah, when you're talking about 2 points in terms of the All-Pro race, that literally means if one person changed their vote from Jensen being 2nd and Bjergsen being 1st, they would both be tied at 91 points. So literally just a single ballot was the difference there. And somebody, in terms of just not a close race here, it was almost unanimous that Olay, the support from Immortals, was the #1 All-Pro support. He was just obliterating people across the map and being a gigantic playmaking support for the entire team to split.
I mean, it was a great split to do it as well, just because playmaking supports were so in the focus, and a lot of people stepped up and started grabbing some more attention. You know, Smoothie and Afro being great as well. But like you said, just such a dominating performance by Olay, the leader in terms of how many points he had over the 2nd All-Pro player.
Yeah, of course, we will get a bigger look at the Immortals, All-Pro team players later in the week. But today, we've got Someday versus Jensen. We've got the carry in the top lane, the carry in the mid lane. With that in mind, we also have to talk about patch. 7.16 is our playoff patch. We've seen a number of changes to a lot of very meta champions, high priority champions, the likes of Orianna, Caitlyn, Maokai. What are your thoughts on how these champions were touched?
Well, Orianna is an interesting one because there were two big changes. There was how her W was cast with her Q and stuff like that, as well as the shield nerfs. And they reverted the changes to the QW. The shield nerfs seem pretty substantial, but there were a lot of other changes that came in on the patch. So it was tough to see exactly how important this is going to be for Orianna. She's still seemingly being picked on the other games that we see being played in 7-16.
Yeah, but when all these mid lane champions get touched, I kind of think about Keen in the mid lane because when there's these pocket picks, these champions that people weren't playing before and they weren't nerfed or buffed really, the things like Victor or Vladimir that are kind of hiding underneath the surface, those are going to rise up. And Keen's the guy to do it. And in a best of 5 where we have so many games where you can take those risks, I expect to see something from him today.
All right, well, with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to predictions. Mark, I'm going to start with you. C9 versus Dignitas. Who's coming away with the victory today?
It's going to be pretty close. I think this is the closer of the two matchups in the first round, but I have to go with Cloud9, 3-1. I think it's one of the... Well, yeah, I was gonna say one of the things I think is when you look at the All-Pro, lineups, it seems like C9 has an advantage there with the amount of players they have on those. But I think one thing that happened was Alltech and Adrian were phenomenal in the second half of the split, but they just didn't have as much games under their belt together to really upset, Smoothie and potentially Sneaky, who ended up on those lists. So I think that's really close. I think the big mismatch is going to be potentially the jungle. Shrimp can do some crazy stuff. He's very creative, but over the course of a 5-game series in the playoffs when teams are more careful, I feel like that could be a bad matchup and Contrast can come out ahead.
Yeah, when you're a very creative jungler like Shrimp and you play a best of 5, you have to be able to at least be able to come up with creative things that people aren't seeing at least 3 times and have it work. So, of course, like you said, that's the kind of mismatch there. But I'm pretty hyped about that bottom lane of Alltech and Adrian. I feel like they are incredibly good. But as hyped up as I am on the Dignitas bottom lane, I still have to go with Cloud9.
You baited it.
Yeah,
you baited everybody.
No, I'm just giving my explanation.
No, I love it.
There's a very angry Dignitas fan right there.
I mean, I love how split the audience is. It's definitely making me hyped for a very close series.
Yeah, and I love that bottom lane. I think it's very strong, but you can't ignore the pedigree of Cloud9 in terms of Cloud9 history as an organization. Out of all the playoffs and all the years that they've been there, they've only lost best of 5s in playoffs to TSM ever, right? So Dignitas, I'm not seeing a TSM logo right there. I don't know if they actually have what it takes to take down C9 today.
All right, strong words out of both my analysts voting for C9. We want to hear from you at home as well, though, with that hashtag HowILCS. Now, here's the thing. This is playoffs, so normal puppy pictures will not do anymore. I want puppies wearing jerseys, putting emotes into Twitch chat, and getting all kinds of serious about the playoff pictures. So do not spare any expense with those photos, but send them in HowILCS with that, hashtag NALCS as well. For now, though, it's nothing left to do but throw it up to the casters to get us into this series. Enjoy.